Today we're taking a look at a chronograph. Currently, this is the only watch that is available by this manufacturer. They only make this watch, and it's the only thing for sale on their website. It's an homage to some of the most famous chronographs in the world, specifically one, the most famous chronograph in the world, the Daytona. However, this is an affordable watch. It's getting a hand-wound movement inside. It is a Seagull ST19, which I do like a lot because they are affordable and you're getting that interaction with a watch that you normally wouldn't get from maybe a Mecha Quartz or a Quartz movement. So I do like these movements. This watch does have some shortcomings. However, there is one thing going for this watch. It is the looks, the style of this watch. It's not a direct homage to the watch that I was mentioning before. It does have its own style in its own way. However, it does take a lot of inspiration from that watch. But the formula is good, and what you end up with is a very good looking chronograph. So let's flip the camera and take a look at Dasher Watch Company. So here's the watch. This is called the Linden Chronograph from Dasher Watch Company. And obviously this is an homage to a very popular chronograph, maybe one of the most popular chronographs in the world, from one of the most popular brands in the world. And you know the watch that I'm talking about. However, the dial is a little bit original when compared to what it is an homage of. The case, the pushers, everything else is an homage, direct homage to that watch. However, the dial is somewhat original. You have a matte black dial. You have a white minute track that is printed on. It's actually pretty large. You have applied indices. Those are sort of domed rectangles. They're curved rectangles, curved on the top, and those are applied. Right behind that, you have little dots of lume. You have fence post hands. Those are lumed, and then you have these arrows for the chronograph hands, which look kind of original. I like the look of that. The running chronograph seconds is a large arrow as well. That is loomed. And then on the dial, it says Dasher Watch Company at the top. So it just says Dasher, actually a large D. That is their logo. You get that logo in the crown. The crown is screwed in, and you do have screwed in pushers. You get polished sides on the case. You have a tachometer bezel, which is a stainless steel bezel, and then you have drilled lugs. This comes on a mesh bracelet. However, they also make a bunch of different straps for it as well. Down at the bottom of the dial, it says Linden, because that's the name of this watch chronograph, and then 50 meters. So the 50 meters is a little bit disappointing, especially since this gets a screwed in crown and screwed in pushers. I wish this had at least 100 meters of water resistance, especially since this gets a screwed in crown and a hand wound movement. So this gets an ST19 inside. That is a Seagull movement based on a vintage Venus movement. So these are really nice movements that are, interactive for young collectors and people who are just seasoned collectors as well. They're really interesting movements to look at, and obviously you get to wind it every day, so interact with your watch. So that's the reason why I like Seagull ST19s in particular. Unfortunately, they did put a solid case back on this watch. I wish it actually had a see-through case back. Again, 50 meters of water resistance is pretty low, so I don't know what it would have been if they put a see-through case back, but I think they should raise the water resistance on this to 100 and add a display case back, because you do want to see the ST19. I think it's a pretty good looking movement. As long as you don't take out a loop, I think it's a really good looking movement, and it's fun to look at. That's just me. But 100 meters of water resistance, I think, would be good. And then there's one other thing I would definitely change about this watch is the crystal. The crystal is a hardened mineral crystal. I think this should get a sapphire crystal, considering the price. The price isn't terrible on this watch, but the fact that you're getting a mineral crystal and only 50 meters of water resistance is not that great. It is a good looking watch, and obviously an homage to a very good looking watch. I think it's, in my opinion, this is actually a better looking watch than that watch. So it's, it's really up to the person purchasing. They are charging $399 for this watch. At that price, I think that is good. However, if this had a sapphire crystal and 100 meters of water resistance, even with a solid case back, I think this would be phenomenal at that price. This measures in at around 39 millimeters. We're around a 14 millimeter thickness. I measured around 14.3 millimeters, so it is on the thicker side. And then you have around a 48.8 millimeter lug to lug. On this bracelet, it will wear well. And obviously on straps, of course, it's going to wear very, very well. It will wear at that 48 millimeters. It is on the thicker side, like I said, but you are getting a hand wound movement and it is a chronograph. So usually chronographs are on the thicker side. On my wrist today, I have a Laco. This is the first Laco that I am going to feature on my channel, and I'm actually going to be giving one away. I have another version of this, a GMT version of this, that I will be giving away here on my channel. So if you are not subscribed, definitely subscribe so you are alerted when that video goes live. It will only be live for a few days, and then Laco will be choosing a winner. So Extropian and Laco and I are collaborating on this, so they will be choosing a winner, and they will be choosing a random winner in the video that I produce. So definitely stay tuned, subscribe to the channel so you are alerted, so you can get a chance to win one of these watches. And there it is on my 7.5 inch wrist. Like I was saying, I think this is a very handsome watch. It's really nicely made. It's finished really nicely. The only things that I have said, those little drawbacks on the watch, I think those are the only two problems, but other than that, I think it looks really good on my 7.5 inch wrist, and it looks like an homage to a very expensive watch, and it definitely fits the bill. Tell me what you think down in the comments below. I have a 7.5 inch wrist. This is around a 39 millimeter watch with a 14 millimeter thickness. It's not incredibly thick. It's on the thicker side, like I was saying, but as chronographs go, it's not incredibly thick. And then it has a 48.4 millimeter lug to lug. Well, there you go. Not a ton of lume on the watch, but you do have a running seconds that has lume, which I do like to see. You have those little dots around the dial, so you could see the time in the dark. Obviously, the hands are decently applied with lume. I wouldn't say liberally applied with lume. They are decently applied with lume. $399 is on the more expensive side, but if you like this style of watch, it's a really nicely made chronograph, and it does have that ST19 inside, so it is a hand-wound chronograph. The 50 meters does bother me a little bit. Obviously, it's decent enough for day-to-day use, but 100 meters would have been great because then you can go swimming with this and do other activities, which would be a lot better. But all that said, I do think $399 is not a bad price. Tell me what you guys think down in the comments below. What do you think of this watch? What do you think of this style of watch? Is there anything you would change about this watch? Tell me down in the comments below. I want to hear from you guys. I'll put a link to Dasher watch code down in the description, so definitely check them out if you are interested. Anyway, guys, thank you for logging on. I will catch you guys in the next video.